Okay, I'm here. Guys, just give me a second. I know I'm late. Um, I was trying to organize stuff on my laptop because I am trying to do things more efficiently for myself, especially considering I'm blind. All right. I just need to see the comments. Here we go. I am streaming, guys, from 3 different platforms. I'm streaming from Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube. Okay. I normally do my TikTok lives on Thursdays and then I do my YouTube on Fridays, along with Facebook, but I didn't get a chance to do it yesterday. So I'm going to be looking like in all different directions. So do not mind me. Just give me a moment. I want to make sure that I have everybody. Here we go. Okay. I just need to see the comments. Perfect. Hi, everybody. So guys, if you're here with me, I'm going to say, because I know some of the people on YouTube can't see people on TikTok and vice versa. But if you're here with me, please, you're going to stick around for a while. Gonna chill. We're going to vibe. We're going to talk about some stuff. Throw me those purple hearts, guys. Okay? Purple hearts. Purple hearts are usually used for, I usually use purple hearts for a symbolism of abuse, domestic abuse, narcissistic abuse, just any forms of abuse. That's my representation of it, which is why I use a lot of purple hearts in my comments and of course in my bio and my profiles and stuff. So please throw them at me. All right, just to let me know that you're here so I can keep up with you guys. Also, I do have some bad news, guys. Most of my YouTube viewers would understand this, so I'm gonna say hi to you guys soon. Just give me one sec. Sad news: my cactus, Bob, the famous cactus, has did not make it. Unfortunately, the cactus ended up just really. I don't know what happened to it, but guys on TikTok, if you don't know what I'm referring to, I have referenced. I have a video on my YouTube referencing to the narcissist, what they can do to themselves with a cactus, and my best friend bought me a cactus, and it was kind of like the theme of things. So unfortunately, my cactus did not make it. It died. I don't know what happened. She was, I'll be honest, guys, my schedule was always so busy, but she always came and she took care of him, and we didn't understand how it happened, but it did not make it, and I'm going to have to get a new one. But if you guys on TikTok haven't seen that video, it is on my YouTube channel, so you guys definitely should check it out. Yeah, so guys, I'm loving it. I'm loving it. I'm seeing nothing but purple hearts. That is so awesome. Thank you so much, guys. And just bear in mind that these hearts go for a lot of victims who are turned survivors, and victims who did not make it. Okay, who did not make it in the journey. And we pass no judgment. We really don't. All right. So we're gonna just get into it, guys, because there are a few things that I wanted to talk about, and I actually took some time on my way home from work. Making notes because I was just basically jotting down what I wanted to talk about with you guys. I want to say hi to everyone. Amanda, Cicely, G, thank you so much for being here. Anna, magnificent, so good to see you. Only One Fever, thank you so much, sweetheart. Be a better person, so happy to see you here. Star, happy to see you here too. I'm just so excited to be here with you guys. I really, really am. Hi, Ty. How are you, sweetheart? Got Amanda here. Hi, Ken. Anita, how are you? Star Witch, nice to see you here. Oh, Starwitch, I will definitely keep your mother in my prayers. I do hope she, I hope she sees it through, and, just, have faith in God. Keep that faith in God, and know that she's going to make it through. She's going to be okay. Whatever the outcome is, she's going to be okay. Okay? Definitely sending prayers to you, sweetheart. It is so awesome to see so many people here, to be, just it's a mental health check-in with you guys. I do my lives as a mental health check-in with you guys, as a way to get to know you guys, as a way to just, just to be with you guys. Okay? It's important. There were a few things that I did want to address. One of the things I wanted to address, we're going to get into the notes that I was making, but one of the things I wanted to address, I found it, I have this thing of going through my comments, and when I put up videos, you have everybody who they're going to have their opinions, right, guys? Everybody, especially people who don't know, can't understand what this is all about. But my recent video, why did you stay with them if they were that bad? It got some relatable comments. It got a lot of shares and a lot of likes, and it got people talking about it, which is important. But it did get some people who were like, victims, calling them victims. Somebody said this, calling them victims is kind of like deflecting accountability, that they have no accountability in the dynamic. And that can be farthest from the truth. Okay? Because being a victim of narcissistic abuse or any type of abuse, even if you stayed in a relationship with the person longer than necessary, what kills me most is that people tend to think, when the victims come out of this situation, first of all, they are victims. Okay? You guys were once victims, right? A lot of you have gone into your survivorship, so I'm super, super proud of all of you for that. But the fact remains, any type of abuse of authority, manipulation, any type of emotional, psychological, spiritual, any type of abuse is abuse, whether it be physical or not, it's abuse. And the person on the receiving end of that is, in fact, a victim. Okay? And I've made it my business to point out to people that narcissists are victims of abuse. They are. However, they chose to adopt the same abusive behaviors and project it onto other people. And that's the part that a lot of people don't understand. A lot of people are saying, well, you should have known better. You should have seen it coming. You should have seen what they were doing, as if it could never happen to them. And that's complete and utter bullshit, because it can happen to anyone. It can happen to the most secure person in the world. Okay? But I'm sorry, guys. Give me 1 second. Hi, 24K River Gold. How are you? Hi, Coach Ron, Brooklyn, Teresa, Madi, Kimberly. Oh, Sule, thank you so much for that, sweetheart. Angelina, we got a good amount of people. I have Amanda bouncing back and forth between rooms. I give it to you, Amanda. Thank you so much. If anyone is interested in being a moderator, please let me know. I'm probably going to need extra hands to help out. Maybe have a moderator for YouTube and a moderator for TikTok. If you guys don't mind, I'd really appreciate that. But as I was saying, first and foremost, when I started getting into my studies, I've learned that in the United States alone, 160 million Americans have been victims of narcissistic abuse. Okay? This is victimization. And victimization is pretty much a term used to describe the dynamic between an abuser and their target. Okay? And an abusive person does not have to be physically abusive. They don't have to just put their hands on you. They can emotionally abuse you, psychologically abuse you, spiritually abuse you, energetically abuse you. And it doesn't just have to be romantic relationships. It could be in your family too. Your family members can narcissistically abuse you. Okay, this is where narcissism stems from. So, if you're one of the lucky ones, if you're one of the good ones that chose not to be like the abusive people in your life, and you chose to continue your own path and go your own way, God bless you. Because clearly, not everyone can think like you do. But when people say that victims don't take accountability, so it's just the abuser's fault. It's just the perpetrator's fault. Victims won't take accountability for what they contributed. That's bullshit. Okay. And for anyone who's a skeptic who sits there saying, well, calling yourself a victim is pretty much thwarting you away from your own accountability in the dynamic. If you think that people who have been victims of this type of abuse have not beaten themselves up after enduring all of this, and after really coming out of the fog and seeing things for what they truly are, you are sadly mistaken, because that is not the case. Victims have taken a lot of accountability. Okay, they've taken accountability in admitting that, yes, they've enabled certain things. But you got to also keep in mind, what did I say in my video, guys? I said that they're conditioned. Okay, when you started with someone who happens to be a narcissist, or narcissistic, when you started with them in the beginning, wasn't the relationship nice? Wasn't it like fun? It was cool. You guys were having a good time. Everything was great. There were no issues. That's the honeymoon phase. That's the beginning stage of things. So of course, everything's going to be great. Everything's going to be, it's going to be all roses and, the rose tinted glasses, come on. But over time, they're not just going to come in the beginning and be like, oh, I'm an asshole, or, I'm a bitch. I'm the C word. I'm not going to use the word, but you know what I mean. They're not going to be forthcoming with what type of person they are, what their intentions are. They're not going to do that, because they know for a fact that if they show you who they truly are, you're not going to entertain them. You're not going to want anything to do with these types of people. So what do? They're going to groom you, right? They're going to groom you, and they're going to pretty much condition you. They're basically conforming you. They're conforming you to adjust and adapt to their abuse. What did I say in the video? Monday, they're one way. Tuesday, they're the next. Wednesday, they're one way. Thursday, they're the next. That's that Jekyll and Hyde. That's what it's called. Jekyll and Hyde, where they are Dr. Jekyll Monday, and then they're Mr. Hyde or Mrs. Hyde on Tuesday. Okay. And it goes back and forth. And the victims, this is, people are, I guess people try to correct me, and they're like, oh, it's trauma bonding. I know what a trauma bond is. But conditioning someone is pretty much like when you have a child and you're trying to transition your child. Let's say you're trying to transition their eating habits. What are you going to do, right? You're trying to get them to eat new food. So what you're going to do is you're going to take something that they're familiar with, something that they love, something that they crave most, and you're going to put that alongside the new food that you're trying to transition them to eat. That's their comfort food. That's exactly what a narcissist does. They keep you comfortable, just comfortable enough to stay, because it's confusing you. You're looking at them like, okay, maybe they had a bad day. Maybe somebody pissed them off and they're just, they're getting angry. But on some occasions, what do? They deflect on you. They make you feel like you're the problem. You're the reason why I'm mad. You're the reason why I act this way. Well, if you didn't do that, I wouldn't respond this way. Or let's say you confronted them. You confronted them on something, and you're telling them, this doesn't look right. This doesn't match what you said. This over here is not the same over here. What is going on? And what do? They deflect. They get angry. They get upset. Where to the point where at the end of that conversation, what are you doing? You're apologizing to them. You're apologizing to them for pointing out a discrepancy, seeing that something isn't right. And that's pretty much when they slipped. They slipped. So because they slipped, what happens? They got to figure out a way to pretty much deflect any type of accountability, or, any type of wrongdoing from themselves back onto you. So what do they do? They'll bring up something that you've done before. Maybe you did something in the past that, whether it was intentional or not, they'll bring up something that you did, some old war wound that you gave to them. Okay. And they'll try to deflect everything onto you, getting you to forget about what it was you brought to their attention to begin with, and be more focused on being in your feelings because they're upset because of something you did. It could have been something that you did 10 months ago, and they're bringing that to your attention now in a situation that's totally different. Be careful of that. Be careful of that. Anita, thank you so much for that, sweetheart. And yeah, and this is why, guys, this is why I try to, because you know what, you have people who try to invalidate victims. You have people who try to invalidate what you have gone through. So what people do, people who don't understand what you guys have been through, what do? Well, if we don't agree with you guys being the community, you guys being the victims, being the survivors, if we don't agree with you guys, then you guys want to call us narcissists. We're not calling you narcissist, but you're small-minded, just like one, and you are invalidating a victim just like a narcissist. So when people stand on the outside looking in, they're not seeing what's going on, because clearly if you're dealing with a covert narcissist, they're not going to see, nobody's going to see what's going on behind closed doors, because covert narcissists, they focus on keeping everything covered, keeping everything secret. Don't go out there talking about our business. Don't go out there telling people anything that's going on in here. They keep everything behind closed doors. And even though you may not have physical scars, you guys have emotional scars. You guys have psychological scars. You guys have scars. And when people try to say, well, you stayed with them though, you stayed all that time, people clearly don't understand what a trauma bond is. Okay. And a trauma bond is that it's what they feed you. They give you that trauma bond, and they're pretty much back and forth on that trauma bond, because they need you to get deeper and deeper and deeper, which is why during the discard, when the discard happens, and again, guys, keep in mind, it can be your family, it can be your relationships, but when the discard happens, this is why a lot of people feel so confused. You feel like, oh, what the hell just happened? Where did I end up wrong in this situation? Because guaranteed, and I can give you a stamp of approval on the full guarantee or your money back, that you ended up being the villain at the end of that story. You ended up being the one who was manipulative, who was controlling, who was deceitful, who was, who was clingy, who was just bothersome, who was all of these things. And it's crazy, because when you're going through a discard and that person is in the midst of grooming new supply or talking to new people, whatever, or even talking to their friends, they're literally, I mean, depending on the type that you're dealing with too, but mostly probably I would say the extroverted narcissist, they're literally feeding off of your supply, all of your attention, because you're messaging them, you're calling them, you're hurting, you're trying to find out what's going on. I mean, come on, guys. You guys were in love. You guys were in a relationship. They weren't. And what happens? They're taking everything that you're doing, okay? And they're pretty much like, look at what they're doing. Some of them show their friends. Some of them tell their friends, look, she's stalking me. Look, she can't let go. She can't, but they're not telling them what they were doing during your relationship, what they were doing during the discard. They're not telling them any of that. They're not telling them, oh, I'm gaslighting them. I'm stonewalling them. I'm giving them the silent treatment. I'm talking to 5 other people while they're sitting here chasing after me. They're not telling them any of that. They're telling them all negative things about you to other people, and your actions, your reactions, even though you didn't know any of these things, guys, and do not beat yourself up about it. Your actions were kind of etching it in stone. You know what I'm saying? But it's because they were telling people other stories about you. others giving people a totally different story than what was actually going on in the midst of what you were dealing with when you were going through it. Okay. And people tend to think that something goes wrong, something happens, all of a sudden they're a narcissist. Now, it doesn't work that way. Okay. The one thing I hate the most, and this is where I can say I hate it, because I can't stand when people sit there and say, well, you're just mad because they fell out of love with you and you want to call them a narcissist because you're bitter about the situation. Y'all already know how I feel about stuff like that. I'll tell you straight up. I will tell someone to kiss my ass with that one. Okay. Because number one, how can someone who lacks empathy, who doesn't really know love, doesn't know how to love, doesn't know how to receive love, how can I be mad about something that they never had? Meantime, I knew my feelings were real. I knew what I was doing was real, and I knew my intentions were genuine. So where the hell am I bitter? Where am I bitter in this situation? And that's something I want you guys to understand too. When people try to tell you stuff like that, or if they try to make you feel bad for speaking your truth, for speaking up on how things happened, for speaking up on, how, because listen, don't be ashamed. Don't ever be ashamed to tell people, yeah, I got discarded. I was discarded. Erica, I was discarded. And that discard, and in all honesty, I'm going to give it to you guys, was a blessing. It was a blessing. Okay. And I want you guys to look at it like that. I want you to understand why it's a blessing, why it was that this person, these people could have destroyed you way more, way worse than what you were. And God said, no, this is done. I'm cutting in. It's called divine intervention, guys. God, and I'm not trying to be, preachy to people or anything like that, but I'll never deny God. I'll never deny the fact that I believe in God. But it's a blessing, because when you actually see things for what they truly are and what they truly were, which is why you never got clarity, why they were gaslighting you, why they were keeping you at arm's length, why they were doing all of these things that you saw. They were saying these things you heard, okay? And they were telling you all of these things to keep you stuck. Because the reality of it is that even though they discarded you, they like to keep control over you. They like to remember what I said before, they look at you like an object. You are their property. You're the object in their life. Okay? They own you. That is their mentality. And they can come and go whenever they please. They can come and go in your life whenever they want to. And then when people say, well, you're bitter and this and that, you're just throwing all this bullshit, all this nonsense. If that is the case, okay, let's just say for argument's sake, all right, guys, let's say for argument's sake, if that is the case, and I was all of these horrible things that they made me out to be, I was so controlling, I was so, hurtful, I was so manipulative, I was doing all of these things, which is why they had to let me go, which was why when they went with their new supply, they're sitting there making it seem like they finally met the person that deserves them, that values them, that can, can take care of them and do everything that I couldn't do or I wouldn't do. Why is there an attempt to come back? Why? Explain that to me, please. Explain to me why there would be an attempt to come back, why there would be a hoover, why they would tell you, let's just be friends. Okay? Why would they tell you all of these things if you were everything that they put out to these people to be? Somebody please explain it to me. Please tell me, because it sounds like an oxymoron to me. I mean, if I really feel like telling them, like, talk to me like I'm a 2-year-old, okay? Talk to me like I'm a 2-year-old. Tell me what it is, because it makes no sense. And of course, with them, it's not supposed to make sense. It's not supposed to, okay? It's more like, just go with the flow. That's their mentality. Just go with the flow. Go with what I give you, accept what I give you, and don't say shit about it. Don't argue about it. Don't complain about it. They don't want you to know your value. They don't want you to know how much you're worth. They don't want you to know that you can do better, you can have better. Because the reality of it is that if you go out there in the world, you do the work on yourself, you go out there with the empathy that you already have and the kind of personality you already have, the love you have to offer, the love you have to give, they know for a fact you are hot, you're a hot commodity. And that is the biggest threat to them. You being a hot commodity, you being the type of person that a lot of people would go for, that a lot of people would want. Okay, you are someone's type, you are a lot of people's type, but they don't want you to know that, because they spend their time being in their being a void. That's pretty much what they are, whether they're introverted, extroverted, invulnerable, vulnerable, whatever type you're dealing with, they're voids. And because they're voids, they have to wear these masks. Meantime, you can be your authentic self, you can be your pure, genuine self, and they have to go through so much work to be something that they're not. And the crazy part about it is, this is the crazy part, they can actually be someone. They can be a good person. They can actually be out there and do the right thing, but they choose not to. They choose not to. Okay, let me see. I just want to make sure. Sule says, I hope I'm saying it right, honey. I mess up names. I feel good. I'm not alone. I fell because of the heart I have, but man, it's still hurt. And I know it does. I know it hurts. I know it hurts. And that's just showing, that goes to show you that you're a person. It goes to show you that you have love. It goes to show you that you are human. Okay. It's when you don't feel, when you just feel numb, that's when you know something is really wrong. Okay. It's going to hurt. It is going to hurt. Healing does take time. Healing will take a lot of time, guys. But I'm going to tell you right now, when you get through it, okay, go through it, but get through it. Don't stay stuck. Okay. When you get through it and you come out of it, you are going to feel a million times better. I kid you not. You are going to really see yourself through new eyes. It's going to be like you're transformed, like you're reborn. Okay. You're going to see yourself setting up boundaries. You're going to see yourself not taking nobody's crap. You're going to see yourself not being a pushover. You're going to see yourself doing the right thing for yourself. I'm so sorry, guys. I got like so many people. Guys, thank you for the gifts. If you're sending me gifts on TikTok, I'm sorry if I don't get to thank you individually, but thank you so much. I truly, truly appreciate it. But you're going to be doing so much more for yourself. And this is the stage where they don't want you to get to. Okay. You know the term misery loves company, right? And people who are miserable love to have other people on that same level as them. And I've said it plenty of times. Before you got into everything with them, you were cool people. You were happy-go-lucky. You loved love. You were always open to receive love. You were always open to be, just to be in a connection with someone. You were open to that. Yeah, you had your trust issues. We all have trust issues. But at the end of the day, you did not make people. Maybe some of you did. And, listen, we're not perfect, guys. We're not perfect. But you did not make people pay for what other people have done to you. Because I'm sure a lot of you have been through a lot of stuff. I'm sure a lot of you have been through a lot of stuff before dealing with these types of people. I'm sure you've been through a lot of stuff, throughout your entire life, maybe from your childhood. But you still had like that tinge of hope. You had that tinge. You were holding on to that little bit of hope that, okay, yeah, I've been noticing patterns and cycles, and something's got to give. Something did give, guys. Okay, something did give. Your catalyst, whomever that person was, whomever these people are, those were your catalyst. And it taught you to change things about yourself. It taught you to do what's necessary for you, because you're going to continue. If you didn't, you were going to continue attracting these types of people, which again, I told you guys, anybody can attract these kinds of people. But it would have put you to the point of keeping people like this in your life longer than necessary. Okay? Because the red flags all flew out the window. Once they saw that they can get away with certain stuff, once they saw that they could be, they were really sweet to you in the beginning, everything was cool, everything was nice, but then you started noticing little things along the line, a little condescending attitude maybe, or, a little bit of that rough exterior, that, the nastiness, the rudeness, but then it went right back to lovey-doveyness. And then it started, and it kept going on like that. It kept going on like that, right? For a while. And once they saw that you were just letting stuff kind of fly over your head, you were letting stuff just slide by, and you were like, because you really cared, you really liked the person, you really wanted to, what I think a lot of victims had? They had a hero complex. Okay. A lot of victims who are empaths, codependents, just really empathetic people. It's a hero complex. And it's that part of you that looks at that person. You see their soul, you see their wounded soul. You see them as, you just didn't have, you probably didn't get love like you should have. And, I'm a different person. I can show you, I can teach you, I can, you could be all of these things, guys. That part of you wanted to save them. That part of you wanted to show them something different. But what you didn't know in the interim of all of that was that there were probably other people before you trying to do the same thing, which you weren't the first. Okay. You guys weren't the first. And unfortunately, everything that you guys paid for in these dynamics, everything that you guys went through was projection. These people were projecting onto you the pain, the internal pain that they feel. They were projecting onto you what they say. What I'm seeing a comment, I got distracted. They're projecting onto you what has been said to them throughout their life, what has been projected onto them, everything they've projected onto you. Because think about it. Think about it for a second. Okay. Let's say you're dating someone and, I don't know, you went to the store and you left your phone. Let's say you left your phone at the house. You went to the store, right? And they were calling you and calling you and calling you. And you left your phone at the house. You go to the store. You come back. You see all these missed calls. You're like, okay, you're thinking, where's the fire, right? So you call them back. Hey, I left my phone at the house. I went to the store. Well, how the hell did you leave your phone at the house when you always have your phone on you and all of a sudden you left your phone at the house? All of a sudden you don't take your phone with you. I went to the store. So what's the problem? That's projection. When they're arguing with you, when they're yelling at you, when they're coming down on you, when they're putting their insecurities, when they're putting their trust issues, when they are comparing you, they are projecting. And when they're telling you things, they're trying to implant that in your head. Who was at the store? Who did you go to the store with? How long does it take for you to go to the store? Huh? And they're clocking you, and they're monitoring you, and they're watching you, and they're doing all of those things. That's projection. They're projecting their insecurities. They're projecting their trust issues. They're projecting their past experiences. They're projecting all of these things onto you. Maybe an ex did something. Maybe, I don't know, somebody in their family did something. It could be anything. They're projecting that onto you. And you're sitting there looking at your phone like, where the hell is all of this coming from? And what do? Instead of, and guys, I know a lot of us are guilty of this, okay? Instead of, oh, hell no. Hang up the phone. What do? You try to conform to soothe their insecurities. You conform even though you have no reason to, even though you never gave them a reason to. You are trying to change yourself. You're trying to change certain things about yourself and the things that you normally do to soothe them because they're insecure. And because for some reason, the fact that you left your phone at home and you went to go to the store, it gave them narcissistic injury because they felt like they were being ignored. They felt like you weren't, you were playing games with them, or, you're doing something you shouldn't be doing, whatever the case is. That is their projection of their insecurity on you guys. Okay. And I want you to understand, this is why it's important. You don't internalize. You don't internalize. You don't take it personal. Don't take it personal. Don't take it as, listen, if you did not commit a crime, if you did not do anything for them to respond or react, I should say, the way they were doing, whatever it is they were doing, that has nothing to do with you. And like I said, when you learn that people project, if someone is projecting onto you, step back for a second. Think about it. What are you doing? They're gonna ask you, what are you doing? I'm trying to figure out in this whole conversation, in this argument, where you're arguing with me about stuff that has nothing to do with me. Where do I fit in any of this? Because I didn't do anything to you. You got to put your foot down with these people, and you got to let them know, if you got problems, you have insecurities, you have trust issues, if you got people who've been in your life and did some messed up things to you, you need to handle that with those people, because they're the ones who did that to you, not me. Not me. Okay? So if your father spent his time abusing you, putting you down, making you feel like crap, abandoning you when you needed him most, doing all kinds of craziness, take it up with your father. If your mother did this to you, take it up with your mother. If your ex did it to you, take it up with your ex. Don't bring your bullshit to my table. Don't bring your past trauma and your BS. This is how you guys will get, guys. This is why I say heal, get through it, because this is exactly the kind of response you are going to have towards people from this point on. You are no longer going to try to say, oh my gosh, okay, they've been through a lot. They've been hurt by different people. Let me try my hardest, because then what's going to happen? What's going to happen? You hear that song, Dance Monkey, right? That's exactly what's going to happen. They're going to have you jumping through hoops, doing everything because you're willing to sacrifice you're willing to sacrifice a part of yourself that has absolutely nothing to do with any kind of trauma they had going on. You're going to sacrifice everything, and you're going to basically work 10 times harder to try to keep them satisfied, try not to trigger them, try not to inflict any kind of injury, all for this to happen. And in the end, you still get discarded. Cut the middleman out. Oh, I want someone to try to project onto me. I would love for someone to try to. I'd be like, you know what? We'll do a test run. Project onto me. Project your trauma onto me. You go ahead and project your trauma onto me. I will hand you your balls. Seriously, go ahead and try it. That's where you guys need to be. That's where you guys are gonna be, because you're gonna get to a point of indifference. You're going to get to a point of indifference. Yes, spiritual says they get supply off of your reaction. And that is, yeah, because what they're pretty much doing when they get new supply, and you're being reactive towards their behaviors, towards what it is that they are doing. They love to, in this case, they love to triangulate. So while they're, grooming new supply, while they're dealing with people, while they're being sneaky, while they're doing whatever, you reacting to them, because they want you to chase them, guys. They want you to chase after them. They want you to pretty much, this is, again, filling their ego. They're about filling up their ego. That ego tank, that's what they want you to do. They want you to chase them. They want you to pretty much be like, oh my gosh, I'm nothing without you. I love you and all this stuff or whatever. But if you really stop to think about things, stop for a second. Stop yourself for a second. And anybody who's a new victim, anyone who's just not going through the process, anybody who's just now being discarded, I want you to listen. If you are, in these rooms, stop yourself for a second. Okay? Stop yourself and say to yourself, do I respect myself? Okay? Do I respect myself? Do I respect myself as a person? Okay? And if you say yes, you're going to stop wherever the hell it is you stopped at. You're going to about face and you're going to turn around. That's what you're going to do. You're not going to chase after them. You're not going to try to gain, because listen, when people want clarity, people want closure. They say there's no closure with the narcissist. There's no closure with the narcissist. You know something? There is closure with the narcissist. You're the one who's going to have to do it. I mean, you were doing everything in the relationship. Were you not? Were you not giving in 85, 90% of the relationship? Were you not doing all of this to try to satisfy someone who is never going to be satisfied? You were doing all of this work. You were creating all of this foundation. You were giving in all of the resources. You were doing all of this. That's what you guys were doing. So what's going to be the difference if you give yourself your own closure? Because if you sit there relying on them coming back to give you closure, to give you an apology, and if they know, or if you try to pull it out of them, if you're trying to tell them, well, at least give me my closure, they know you want that. That is giving them control. That is letting them know, I'm still hanging on. Because they know that it drives you crazy. They know that, lack of closure, lack of clarity, no accountability, it drives people crazy. But if you train your mind to say, you're just a fucked up individual. Oh, wait, my phone is, I'm sorry, guys. Sorry about that, guys. But if you just sit there and just call a spade, guys, call a spade. You're a messed up individual. You have issues, you have trauma, you have things you need to do, you have things you need to deal with. It has nothing to do with me. This is who you are. I am not an option. I put in all this work. I did all of this for you. I did all of this for us. You took advantage of me. You took me for granted. You did all of these things, and you didn't even give me the decency to give me any form of closure, any form of clarity. But you know what? Their actions were showing you. Their actions were showing you. It pretty much told you they're sneaking around. They're talking to different people. They're going back to exes. They're dealing with other options, whatever the case may be. That's your closure, guys. And a lot of people who walk out of these situations saying, well, I never got closure. I never got clarity. You did, but you just did. You at that point in time, especially during a discard, you refused to see it. You refused to believe it. We were all there at one point, guys. Everybody was. And it took having to see something that broke your heart. It took having to hear something that broke your heart. It took having to be confronted with something, even if it's indirectly, to show you, to tell you this is how it truly is. How much more do you want to go? How much more pain do you need to feel to let go of this? And it was not easy, guys. For me, it was not easy. Was not easy at all. But seeing as when someone has no respect for you, when they have no regard for you, even after everything you've contributed into a dynamic, even after everything you have gone through to conform to their wants, their needs, to prove to them that you're not like everybody else, to prove to them that I can give you unconditional love, to be treated that way in the end, you deserve so much more and so much better than that. You definitely do. Because all of that in that relationship, the lack of intimacy, the lack of empathy, the lack of respect, the covert abuse, the bullying, the triangulation, the conditioning, the trauma bonding, everything, that was them. That was them. That was not you. That was not because you deserved that. That was not because you don't deserve love, you don't deserve happiness, you don't deserve to have someone who respects you, you don't deserve to have someone who appreciates you and values you. That was who they truly are because that is all they know. That is all they know. And if they do decide to try to hoover you back, if they do decide to try to come back into your life, I'm going to tell you right now, you will be, not only if you let them in. I can't tell you guys what to do, but I can tell you this much. Learn from the first time. Learn from the first time. And some of them will try it. They will try it. They'll tell you, I'm going to therapy. They'll tell you, I've changed. They'll tell you, it'll be different this time. They'll tell you whatever you want to hear. They'll tell you all of that. But if you dealt with someone who spend their 95% of their life being a narcissist or a narcissistic person or a manipulative person or an emotionally devoid person, emotionally unavailable person, if they spend 85-90% of their life being like this, and you mean to tell me they went to therapy for a couple of months? Nah, I don't think so, man. I don't think so. I listen, I have this saying, you could be a pendeja some of your life, or you can be a pendeja your entire life. But there's no in between, okay? So at the end of the day, if you learned your lesson, move on. It's not easy. I'm not going to tell you it's easy because it's not. But what's not easy is worth it. If it's too easy, it's not worth it. It is not worth it. Oh, yes, Brew, absolutely. And it took me a while. It took me a while because I've been a codependent for 30 some odd years. I was a codependent person. I relied on people to validate my feelings, to validate my emotions. And when I realized that all it takes is for me to love myself, value myself, I don't need nobody. I don't need nobody to fulfill me. I'm already fulfilled. And that's where we need to be. Be fulfilled on your own. You meet someone else who is fulfilled on their own. You both come together and you both fulfill that relationship. That's how it works. None of this, oh, well, I'm not feeling fulfilled. Okay, well, I'm fulfilled. You know what's going to happen? This unfulfilled person, this person who didn't do the work on, they're going to just suck the life out of you. That's all they're going to do. They're just going to suck the life out of you. They're going to play games with you. And it's because of the fact that people rely on other people for emotional validation and love. And, it's just that codependent trait. These people who are fulfilling the people who rely on other people to fulfill them, they're in control. They are the ones who have the controls. They're the ones who pretty much, it's like that claw game to grab, the toys. They're the ones who have the little joystick and they're controlling you. Don't give them that. Don't give them that. You guys deserve way, way better, way more. Okay. And once you're by yourself for a while and you just enjoy fulfilling yourself, doing these things for yourself, by yourself, you get to the point where you're like, what people bring to the table, you set standards for yourself. And there's nothing wrong with that, guys. There is nothing wrong with setting standards for yourself. Okay. Let's be perfectly honest. If we had some really strong boundaries and we really set standards for ourselves, we all would be in a totally different situation and totally different wavelengths, but we would be where we need to be. And at the end of the day, just learn from it. Don't beat yourself up about it. You already got people out in the world who look to invalidate victims and make you guys feel like, oh, well, you should have known better. Oh, that could be me. Oh, I'm just saying, it's blind loyalty. That's what it was. It was just blind loyalty. They made you feel a certain kind of way if you didn't fulfill something that they wanted. They made you feel a certain kind of way if you did not conform to what they wanted. But yet, all you wanted in return was what? Compromise, understanding, love, appreciation. You didn't ask for much. Shit, I know I didn't ask for much. But at the end of the day, it was too much for them. It was too much for them. So what do? it's easier, it's a lot easier for people to deflect accountability. So it's a lot easier to blame someone else. It's a lot easier to blame someone else and say, well, no, it's you're the reason why I'm unhappy. This relationship isn't making me happy. It's not. You're supposed to make yourself happy. We're supposed to fulfill this relationship. That's what we're supposed to do. So you're not happy because of you, not because of me, because I've been doing my part. I've been contributing. I've been showing love. I've been showing loyalty, courteousness, consideration. I've been doing my part. But if you're not doing your part, then yeah, of course you're not going to be happy. But don't put that blame on me. That's the problem. That is the problem right there. They put that onto you. Queen of the South, Erica, what makes a narcissist? A narcissist is pretty much, well, there are a lot of different factors that fall behind narcissism. Environment is one of them. Okay. And by environment, it usually stems from the home. It stems from the home. When a child is born, a child is not born a narcissist. A child is not born a codependent child. They're not born that way. Okay. And that's another thing we got to understand. Hi, Stella. Hi, sweetheart. They're not born that way. A narcissist is a child who's had a personality projected onto them by a narcissistic parent or caregiver. Okay. Or even it could be just an emotionally detached parent. And basically what they do is, depending on the type of abuse that went on in the home, if there was, verbal abuse, physical abuse, emotional abuse, what the child ends up doing is, a narcissist is simply one who adopts the abusive behaviors of the narcissistic person in their life. Now, people use this, narcissism, being a narcissist, it's pretty much, we'll talk the mechanics of it. The mechanics of it is, it's their survival defense mechanism. Okay. They go into survival mode. So because whomever it was in their life, whether it be their mom, their dad, whomever their caregiver was, because they were emotionally detached from the child, they projected onto the child negative traits, which again, what did I tell you guys the last live? Either a golden child narcissist or a scapegoat child narcissist, okay? Whichever one you dealt with. They're basically trained to believe that they have to be in survival mode, that people are manipulative, people are hurtful. It's a dog-eat-dog world. It's a cold world out there. You can't trust anyone. It's kill or be kill. That's pretty much what a narcissist is. They're basically they've adopted the abusive tactics and behaviors of the people who have been in their lives. Now, normally narcissism, it stems from childhood, and it usually goes up to about their teenage years. But they're supposed to break out of it. So people who suffer narcissistic abuse, have narcissistic traits, when they reach a certain age, they're supposed to, break out of that and just kind of branch out into their own thing. However, for people who are just consistently in these types of environments, it's just pretty much where if you put a dog in a very hostile environment and you keep them there, you keep them in that environment, they're just going to be hostile. They don't know empathy. They don't know love. They just know defense. They know survival. That's training the dog to be hostile. It's the same thing with the narcissist. They're trained to be hostile, but it's all done through projection. It's sad. It is really, really sad. I actually have a video that I'm going to upload on TikTok. Guys, it's already on YouTube. The narcissist father. I know I've talked a lot about the mother, but I also have the video for the narcissist father. Yeah, I mean, and as an empath, Brew, it's because of the fact that people who are empaths, extremely empathetic people, it's that level of wanting to change the world, but for the better. wanting to change people for the better, making them, yes, Rosalie, I'm sorry, bro, I'm going to get to you. The maturity level they are at is the age when they abandon their true self completely. That's, well, yeah. I mean, it's pretty much because of the projection. It's like if they started at a very young age, in most cases, you know, a narcissism can start, or even codependency can start as early as birth, like as soon as the child is born and the parent abandons their child. Because narcissistic parents are known to do that as well. They're known to abandon their children. Not all of them, but some of them do. They abandon their children because it's that level of that independence. It's that level of selfishness. It's that level of, you know, I just don't want to be a parent. You know, I got my life going for myself. I'm still young. I want to do what I want to do. And there's not things I can do with having a child at my hip. And what that pretty much instills in the child is rejection. Okay. It's rejection. And I'm a strong believer because, you know, we've all, I think we've all at some point been there, especially if we've dealt with something with, you know, with our parents that we didn't agree with, we didn't agree on, or maybe the certain methods they use that we don't agree with. But I'm a firm believer that, you know, when parents, even at a very young age, this is why they say, be careful how you are around babies, around children, no matter how old they are. Children will resent, whether it be conscious or subconscious, they will resent their parents. They can resent their parents, you know? And it's like to say a male narcissist, and I brought this point up before, a male narcissist generally, they love the physical attributes of women. They love, you know, not love, but they desire, their flesh desires the physical attributes of women, which is why a lot of them try to think that they're playboys and, you know, they got different options. But deep down inside, they resent them. They resent women. Okay. And, you know, if you're dealing with a male narcissist who has a narcissistic mother and, you know, she has pretty much projected so much onto him, even though he has that unnatural connection with his mother, he resents her. And because he resents her, when he gets into a relationship with women, you know, listen, chances are he will probably end up in relationships with women who are in essence a resemblance of his mother, which means, you know, in which he probably will just run through women like crazy because, you know, you're just like my mother. I'm used to this. This is just the way it is. He'll probably be with a lot of toxic women. Now, one of the reasons why they do the things they do to you empathetic women, you sympathetic women, you loving women, you caring women, the reason they act the way they do with you is because you're triggering them. You are triggering a very deep wound for them, from them. Well, for them, sorry, for them. You're triggering a very deep wound because all that you were doing for him in your relationship, giving him unconditional love, not judging him, not holding things against him, conforming for him, being sweet and caring and loving towards him, and doing all of these things that you were doing for him, that was something his mother was supposed to do for him. If she had done that for him, okay, if she had given him that loving, caring attention and been that attentive mother, if he had balance in his life between both of his parents, he would know how to receive love and therefore he would know how to reciprocate love. But you dealt with someone who does not. And again, ladies, if that is an issue, if that is the case, then you can just go tell him to go take that up with your mama. She was the one who's supposed to give you all of this. Okay. She was supposed to be the one to give you all of this, teach you all of this, and show you that this is how you do things. This is how it should be done. And even when it boils down to single mothers. So if the father leaves and the father decides to abandon them, it's important for the mother to express to the children The father is gone because he wanted to leave, not because, it's important to express to the children that his leaving had nothing to do with them. Because if you tell a child your father left because he didn't want you, yeah, that's going to put a very deep wound into a child's heart. And it's going to make them either close up, get very, again, selfish in their own way, because no one likes to be rejected. No one, no matter what age you are. And it's going to push them to resent his father, resent her father, and take out on people what they feel about their parents. And these people have nothing to do with it. They have absolutely nothing to do with it. So when you're with someone who's used to abuse, lies, manipulation, detachment, they're used to these things. When you are being the total opposite of these things, you're triggering something. You're triggering something in them. You're triggering a wound that stirs within them. Which is why I tell people, especially people who are just going through the stages, don't take it personal. It's hard not to, but don't take it personal, guys. It has nothing to do with you. All that they projected onto you has nothing to do with you. Okay? Unless, listen, at the end of the day, I always say we take accountability. We take accountability for what we do on our end. If we hurt people, if we do malicious things or whatever the case may be, we all pay karma. We all reap what we sow. So anything you may have done in your past, listen, face it. Okay. Take accountability for it. If you got to apologize to people, apologize to them. If you got to clear up that, clear up your space, that track record, anything you may have done in your past, apologize, take accountability, and then move on from it. Move on from it, and then work on whatever it is you need to work on for yourself. Stella, do all narcs cheat? I'd like to say yes, but not all of them do. Not all of them do. Okay. Some of them can probably just do things because they love to play mind games. A lot of them love to play mind games. Remember what I told you guys before. I'm sorry if I look like I'm looking, because it's like I got both phones. It's like I told you before, you got certain types of narcissists that are they're not sexual. They're not emotional. They're not sexual. You have narcissists who have dysfunctions. You have narcissists who are just pretty much, they don't want to be touched. They don't want intimacy physically. They don't want, they don't want that. They just want their ego stroked. That's it. So to say that they all do cheat, that's not always the case. Majority of the time it is, but it's not always the case. But they just pretty much want supply. They want that ego stroke. They want to, again, they want their insecurities. They just want to feel soothed. And that's what they do. When it boils down to, I know I mentioned this last week, guys, in with regards to talking about, sex with a narcissist, as far as, narcissists like to use sex as a weapon. So if you weren't crazy, you weren't going crazy when, they know that you're a very intimate person. They know you love intimacy. They know you love the physical touch. Maybe that's your love language, and you like these things. And in doing so, because they know these things, they will use that against you. They will use sex against you. They may withhold sex. They may not give you some for a while, and knowing that it would frustrate you. And of course, if you bring it to their attention, and they know, it's like, listen, if you didn't give me sex for 3 weeks and I bring it to your attention, you're going to get mad at me. You're going to say something to me. You're going to actually, get pissed off at me. Some of them do it because they're trying to make you feel bad for just, you know, oh, well, it's you just want to be physical and this and that or whatever. They might just run some kind of bullshit lame ass excuse. Okay. But it's all just a tactic. It's a tactic to keep control over you. It's a tactic to, you know, to make you, I don't know, maybe want them more, show them that you want them more, crave them more, you know, boost their ego a little more. And often they also use it as a weapon to hoover you back in. So just as much as they can use it as a weapon to control you in the relationship, they use it as a weapon to try to bring you back into a dynamic with them. Be very careful with that, guys. Don't fall for that charm. Okay, don't fall for that charm. Do not let them come, fellas. Don't let them come to your house batting their $200 eyelashes, talking about I miss you, I love you, I remember the good times we had. You know, I know we've been through some stuff, you know, and you said some things that you didn't mean, and you know, I said some things and blah blah blah, and they always cut corners. They'll go around different corners, guys. They won't take accountability. If you notice, they're trying to get you back. They're trying to get you back in. Rather than taking accountability, what are they going to do? They're going to spread their legs. That's what they're going to do. They're going to show their body to you. They're going to try to pull you in that way. And if you notice throughout the whole entire thing, no accountability, no genuine apology. You know, listen, we've gone through this before. We always make up. You know, they take advantage of that too, guys. They take advantage of the breakup to make up routine. Okay. And when you get to a point that you put your foot down and you no longer want to be a part of that, what happens? Now it's audacity. How dare you? How dare you not let me back in? How dare you not let me, when you've let me in plenty of times before? Some of you, I'm sure, have gone through this cycle plenty of times. I'm sure you've gone through this cycle with the same person plenty of times. Okay. And then it's just to the point where you're like, yo, I'm just done with the toxicity. I don't want to deal with it anymore. And then what happens? Oh, so you're done with me? Like, who are you to be done with me? That's the entitlement. And let me tell you something, guys. Let me tell you something. Okay. I'm going to make this clear. Okay. Because I don't cut corners. I'm not a cookie cutting content creator. It's a tongue twister. Try saying that 10 times fast. Okay. I don't cut corners with people. I'm going to tell you straight up, because if at the end of the day, if you enabled the behavior, if you let them in constantly, if you went and said, all right, fine, this better be the last time, and you already said this 18 times, then you need to stop and you need to look at yourself and say, this is my fault. Okay. When they show you who they are the first time, you better believe them. You better believe them. Any other time after that, the first time was a choice. So any time after that is also a choice. If you decide to take them back in, if you want to believe they've changed, by all means, I can't tell you what to do with that. I will tell you that with taking them back, with letting them back in, you are running risks. Okay. And by doing so, if you consider trying again, if you consider trying to make it work, understand that you are running a risk. You're running a chance. You're running the risk of it actually happening again. Okay. So just keep that in mind. Keep it in mind. Yes. Yes. Chaparita Rosario, it will only build more resentment. Yes. And over time, you'll begin to, that'll build up. That will build up. Be very careful. Yeah, and you know what, Ty? It's not uncommon for people to fall for it. It's not uncommon. People fall for it. People want to believe that people are capable of change, that people are grown up, people have become adults. People, you know, they want to believe these things. And there's nothing wrong with wanting to believe these things. But if they've already shown you, you know, it takes one time for me, guys. I mean, I'm less forgiving. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I'm less forgiving. Okay. Especially if you disrespected me, if you have put me in a position where I cannot trust you, that you have just completely damaged and destroyed the bond. You know, it only takes one time for me. If you want to try to see if things can work, I mean, hey, I won't tell you what to do with it, but I will tell you that you do run the chance, a very high chance you know, of it happening again. I'm sorry, Levy. I want to make sure because I have like so many different comments. Hold on. Here we go. I'm going to go up. Levy Hart, 11 years, happily married, 2 kids, found out recently he paid $300 for a massage. Well, Levy, what type of massage was this? I'm just saying. What type was this? Was this just a regular massage to where the $300 put you in a financial bind? Or was it a massage, but not really a massage? I just want to make sure. Yeah. People need to just, try to stay away from these people as much. I'm not saying that these people aren't capable, but at the end of the day, it's like you if you try to make things work and it continues to the outcomes continue to be this way, it's like it's just you're beating a dead horse. It's like beating a dead horse. It's really not okay, definitely not appropriate. So I mean, in this case, Levy, honestly, one thing I can say when it boils down to infidelity, when it boils down to cheating, people are always going to make excuses for it. Well, we're wired to procreate. We are wired to procreate, and it's just, men, it's a wiring in their brain, and it's they're basically supposed to, it's like that what is it called? Like that instinctual male hormone that is just men are only meant to procreate and pretty much plant their seed all over the place, which I totally do not go for that type of advice, because the people who love to plant their seeds all over the place and you're gonna end up planting your seed in a Venus flytrap. So be very careful with that, people, okay? But people use the excuse of that men and women, we're just here to procreate. If that were the case, we'd all be fucking narcissists, and all we'd be doing is screwing one another. That's it. Okay? We're here to connect with one another. Companionship, empathy, emotions, connections. That's what we're here for. When you have people who are clearly not mentally and emotionally, what's the word? Oh my gosh, I have the word. They're not mentally and emotionally, I don't want to say intelligent. I don't want to say that because then it makes it seem like, it just kind of, but you guys get what I'm saying. They're not mentally and emotionally, I'm going to say coherent. Okay. I'm just going to say coherent. And you're dealing with someone who is stunted. They're stunted in within their mind and within their heart. These types of people, their behaviors, their patterns, their attitudes, their demeanors, it shows. It shows. But it doesn't show towards the people, the other party in the dynamic, because they don't want to see that. There was a part of that person that they're holding on to. They're holding on to the idea that this person is capable. This person could, could grow. I can help them grow. Maybe if I just sit a little longer and I water a little longer, I can help them grow. A weed is a weed, guys. I'm not trying to be insulting, but I'll tell you right now, you put me in a room of narcissists and I will bully them motherfuckers. I don't care. I do not care. Okay? I do not care. Advocacy is not about, conforming to ideals and ideas of people who are coherently abusive, who know what they're doing. They know what they're doing in their actions. Okay? Advocacy is not about that. Advocating for victims, advocating for people, whether it's your family, whether your relationship with family, friends, or relationships, advocating for people is giving people the chance to be heard. It's giving them a voice. Okay? I'm not going to sit here and I understand a narcissist. I understand how they operate. I understand the things they do, and I understand what they went through. Cool. I completely understand. Now, do you get it, Erica? Yes, I do. Okay, so you understand why they were the way they were. Yes, I do understand why they were the way they were. So can we move on to the next thing? No, we cannot. And the reason we cannot move on to the next thing is because they were coherent. They knew what they were doing. See, if you tell me, and there's factual proof, tangible proof, give me paperwork, show me facts that these people were not coherent. Show me facts that these people were not in any kind of aware state of mind, whatever you want to call it. Show me those facts. Then, until you do, I don't want to hear it. They've been abused. Well, guess what? I've been abused. They've been hurt. Well, guess what? I've been hurt. Okay? They've been lied to. Well, guess what? I've been lied to too. And I'm nothing like them. So explain to me how they can go through all of this and be that way. We can go through all of this and we are who we are. Explain to me how this is apples and oranges. If you can explain to me how a banana can give birth to an apple and a motherfucking orange, if you can explain that to me logically, then I might give you the time of day. Until then, no. I will not play nice with them. I'm not here to play nice with them. I'm not here to play nice with people who find it okay to hurt people, manipulate them, lie to them, do all of these hurtful things to them, abuse them, beat them. Okay? And no, this is just the way I am. This is how we grew up in my house. Well, motherfucker, we in my house. We're not doing that. My ex relationship, I'm not fighting. If you are looking to fight and I'm getting to know you, I will ghost you. I'm gonna be 100 about it. I will ghost somebody. I'm not here to fight. I've been through enough toxic bullcrap for me to be sitting here having you project your issues onto me and tell me, no, I've been through it all. I'm not doing it. You looking to fight? And take your ass to the boxing. Go to a place where they do boxing and go fight there. But I'm not fighting. We're not arguing. We're not, guys. 2022 is coming up. This is going to be a new year for you guys. It's going to be a new year for all of you guys. Okay? No more taking people's projections. No more falling for the charm. The minute you see someone getting a little too charm with you, you need to go in the other direction. Okay? I don't do charm. All right. I don't do the whole, oh my God, you're so beautiful and you're like a queen and you're this and that. I'm like, no, I don't like stuff like that. Don't do that. Okay. Don't fall for the charm. Don't fall for the, I want to spend the rest of my life with you and all the false promises and all that stuff. No, if they're not giving you something tangible, if they're not bringing stuff to the table, if they're just telling you things and they're not actually bringing it to the table, they're wasting your time. Hold on one second. Well, guys, my dad's back in the live. My dad came to watch me last week, guys, on YouTube on the live, and he's back on my live again. Yes, future faking words do not match actions. Absolutely. Absolutely. Heather, my love, I'm so glad you're here. But guys, I wrote down a list of questions and I want you to really think about it. Okay. I wrote down questions, a list of questions that I want you guys to really think about. The first one was, these are for people in relationships. Okay. Why do they get to have friends of the opposite or the same sex, depending on your type of relationship? Why do they get to have friends of the opposite sex? But if you do, then that means you have something going with them. Why, when you try to communicate, it's an argument, but when they're interrogating you, it's necessary? Why can they be friends with exes or people that they've messed with before, but you can't? How do they know private things or things you never shared with them? Why do they give you the silent treatment, but if you do it to them, they get pissed off? They go into a rage. They get angry with you. And the most important question, why do they act single and yet you're the one in the relationship? Now, you resonate with these questions. You know what I'm talking about. Okay. You guys know what I'm talking about. They get to have their friends. They could be female friends. Okay. Ladies, they could be female friends. Guys, they can be male friends. Okay. They get to have all these friends. These are friends. That's my homegirl. That's, I've known her for, that's my homegirl. I've known her for 4 months. What? I'm sorry. Where I come from, when you say that's my homegirl, that means you've known them since like your childhood, from back home. You know what I'm saying? That's my homegirl. I've known her for 4 months. Where did you meet her? POF. Okay. 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 Mm-hmm. When you want to talk to them, you're trying to communicate with them your feelings. You're trying to be, forthcoming. You're trying to be healthy about it. They get mad because you're hitting their ego. Believe that or not, guys. You're pointing out something negative in their eyes. You're pointing out something negative about them. You are hitting their ego. Okay? And because you're doing that, you're bringing something up that they are lacking, that they're not doing, or they're not contributing. You're hurting their ego, which means that, holy crap, you about to go do something. You're either going to leave me, you're going to go mess around on me, you're going to do something that's going to really destroy my ego. So since we can't have that, I'm going to discard you. I might as well just discard you because you're becoming too much and I can't take any chance of you destroying my ego. They can be friends with exes or people that they used to mess around with, but you can't. So they would probably tell you things along the lines of, if you guys share mutual friends or whatever, or, listen, I was put in a position of, if we were like on each other's, social media or whatever, they would tell me, don't let me find out that anybody who's on your social media is an ex or somebody you dealt with. Meantime, they had their ex and other people they dealt with on their social media. See how one-sided that is? So damn one-sided, right? How do they know private things or things that you never shared? How do they know these things, guys? If they're not going through your stuff, if they're not going through your drawers, if they're not going through your phones, if they're not going through your social media, if they're not looking through things, how do they know these things? Listen, me, I'm naturally, I interrogate naturally. And if any of you, I did get that from my dad. I know how to ask certain types of questions. I know how to basically, when I hear certain words and it just kind of, it triggers something, So for me, I'm like, yeah, I look, and if there's nothing to hide, then you ain't got nothing to worry about. But I do look, but I wouldn't look through someone's phone. I wouldn't look through their drawers or their laptops or anything like that. No. But if I'm curious and I want to know, if, for example, you tell me I'm friends with my ex, okay. All right. So then you don't have a problem with me just reassuring myself. I'm not going to, hurt you, bother you with anything. But if I reassure myself, they act single, and while you're the one who has to be the loyal one, you're the one who has to be the one who's holding up the relationship, while they are trying to act like they're still that single person. Okay. And you know what the crazy part is? I was about to say something about the gaslighting, and I'm just going to say this. Gaslighting is pretty much, they give you the fraction of the truth, but the majority of it is a lie. You get a fraction of the truth, but the majority of it is a lie. And in order to uphold that lie, they have to instill a portion of the truth. So it's like to say, I was at Bob's house, I was at Bob's house today. They could have been, ladies, they could have been at Katie's house all freaking day. But they stopped at Bob's house for whatever reason and then went home. So that way, if you needed to call Bob, Bob can tell you, yeah, he was here. Okay? I didn't say that. You didn't hear this. What are you talking about? I told you what happened. I told you who I was with. I told you what was going on. I told you these things. And the reality of it is that they were very evasive, very, cutting corners, like I said, telling you what you want to hear, telling you whatever it is they felt that just to kind of throw you off their scent. This is what they do. Okay? Gaslighting is one of the biggest tools that a lot of manipulators use, and it's usually a way to make you feel like you're going crazy, you're questioning your sanity, you don't know what you're hearing, you don't know what's going on, because now you're starting to question everything. Everything. And I'm just going to tell you guys, don't fall for this shit. Please don't. Please, please don't. New survivors, people who are just going through this for the first time, people who are just now dealing with this, don't fall for it. It's nothing but phoniness. It's lies. It's projection. That is all it is. We're going to get more into it when I continuously do the lives. We'll get more into it, especially with TikTok, because I know a lot of my stuff is based in, on YouTube. But I really would love to incorporate. I'm going to try to see if I can find a way to incorporate the two where I can stream simultaneously, because it's kind of like, it's a bit confusing. And I know I missed a lot of people who were commenting, and I'm sorry guys if I missed you. I was trying to get adjusted to it. But in the meantime, I'm going to go back to doing my TikToks on Thursdays and doing my YouTube on Fridays, so I can give Amanda a break. And of course, be coherent and be here for you, for all of you guys. Yes, Rosalie, lying, and some more lying. Exactly. It's just remember this, guys. Their trauma has nothing to do with any of you. Okay? You did not inflict any of that pain on them. You did not inflict any of that emotional detachment. You did not put any of that on them. Okay? That was with them before they met you. Okay? Don't take accountability for someone else's wrongdoing. Don't. It's inane. Don't do it. Do not do it. And don't let people make you feel guilty for them being hurt by other people. No, we're not doing that. We are so not doing that. Okay. But guys, I thank you all so very much for being here with me tonight. I thank you, guys, for whomever joined. Thank you so much for being here. You guys are completely awesome. My batteries are about to die out on both phones. So I just want to say, continue to be with me, guys. Please continue to stick around. Continue to. Thank you so much. That is so cute. Thank you. Oh, I just love the love. And I love the fact that you guys are just here and you guys are speaking up. You guys are getting through it. You guys are doing what you need to do. And that's just amazing. It's amazing. And I'm so happy I can be a part of it with you guys. If you have any questions, for everyone and anyone who has emailed me, just in case, I have not forgotten about you guys. I will be checking my emails and I will be responding to you guys over the weekend. I have not forgotten about you guys. But much love to you all, guys. I hope you all have a great, wonderful weekend. I hope to see you back. TikTok, I hope to see you guys back here Thursday. YouTube, I hope to see you guys back here Friday. And I have a lot I'm doing over the weekend. I'm redecorating my apartment, so to speak, and I'll show you guys some pictures of it when it's done. But thank you again, guys, so much for being here with me tonight. Anyone I didn't get a chance to respond to, I'm so sorry. I will go back, and if anything, just shoot me an email, shoot me an instant message on Instagram. All of the information is in the bio. And you guys on YouTube, you guys already know where you guys can find me. Much love to each and every one of you. Have a great weekend. Love, peace, happiness, blessings, God's protection. You guys already know how it goes. Thank you so much for being here, guys. Have a great weekend, guys. Have a great night. Bye.